Hi you guys, welcome to our eukaryotic cell lecture slash activity. So you have a few choices on how to access this document. If you're like me and you have an iPad, I put this particular diagram for you already on Canvas. So you can just download it as a PDF like I am right now and just label it that way. Or if you don't have an iPad, I would highly suggest that you print out the sheet. There is a PDF for you over there. You'll see that it lays flat. So just make sure that you go ahead and cut the edges and then fold it like a trifold so it matches in the middle, just like you see on the picture, right? So that is available for you. So if you watched the previous video, we talked about prokaryotic cells, which are just very simple bacteria. Now we're going to talk about eukaryotic cells, and we're actually going to differentiate between a plant and an animal cell. So what you see in front of you right now, the left side, I'm actually going to label it for you. The left side is going to be a plant cell, and the right side is going to be an animal cell. And we as humans are considered animals, so our cells are going to look more like the right side, right? And so the purpose of this diagram is to show you guys a comparison between the plant and the animal cells, right? And your assignment for today, what you need to do is I'm going to help you label the front, but your job is to go and look up these organelles. That's what they're called. Look up the organelles in your textbook or online, and you need to list out what they do, right? What they do. So that is your task right there. So I'm going to help you label, right? And again, your job is to find out what the heck they are there for. So let's start with the nucleus. So the nucleus is going to be on the center of both of them, right? So I'm going to try my best to color code. You can use the same colors if you want, or you can use something completely different. I don't really care. It's up to you, right? But the nucleus is going to be this thing right here. Maybe actually I'm going to use the highlighter option. It's going to be this one right here, right? And again, it's in the middle of both the plant and the animal cell. That means that both of them have the nucleus, right? And so your job is to figure out what the nucleus is for. You might have noticed that it has these little squigglies in here. These little squigglies are the DNA, right? So that's already a clue for you that the nucleus holds the DNA, right? So that's there for you. So that's the first one. The next one is going to be these little squiggles that are right next to it. And there's two types. So there's this part right here, which is little wiggles, but it has like tiny dots in it. I'll talk about what the tiny dots are in a little bit. But again, both plant and animal cells have these little squiggly things, right? And so we are going to call these ones, let's see here. Let me see if I can use this color right here. It's going to be the rough ER. When you look up the word rough ER, you'll find out it means rough endoplasmic reticulum, but that's not going to fit on my paper, so we're just going to write ER. If you can write it out somewhere just so you know what ER means, that'll be helpful, but just because it doesn't fit in here, we'll do rough ER. And it's rough because it has these little circles on it. And again, we'll get back to the little circles in just a little bit. The next one is going to be, let me just get another color here. Next one is going to be the same squiggly looking thing, but without the little bumps. So that's going to be this one right here, right? And so if one of them is rough, then this one right here is going to be smooth. All right, so this one is called smooth ER. And again, they're on both sides, which means that both are present on a plant and an animal cell, right? So let me address the little circles really quick. So notice how they're on, and I'm not going to color all of them because there's too many of them. There's some on this one, right? And then there's also actually some floating around. So it's gonna be these guys right here, and then these guys right here. So these little circles, they're called ribosomes. So let me color code a couple more. But they can either be free floating or they can be attached to the endoplasmic reticulum. So these are called ribosomes. And again, you can also see that on the other side where the plant cell is. So I'm also just going to label them, right? These are ribosomes. So again, you can either see them attached on the rough endoplasmic reticulum or they can be just floating around. And they don't need to be in groups of 3, right? They just happen to be groups of 3 in this scenario. So anything that looks like a small circle, because you'll notice there's bigger circles out there, but these small ones, these are all ribosomes. Right, so there's that. And then the very, very famous organelle that we always have the slogan, but we never really understand what it's for, mitochondria, right? So I'm sure you guys know that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Please try to figure out what that means, right? Don't just say powerhouse of the cell and not actually know what it is. Just make sure you know what that is. So look it up, what it means to be the powerhouse of the cell. And same thing, notice how they're also on the plant side and the animal side. So it's a very common misconception that plants don't have mitochondria, but they actually do, right? So mitochondria. So far, all I've been pointing out are the things that both cells have in common, right? In a little bit, we're going to start diverging, and I'm going to start talking about what one has and what the other doesn't, but we're not quite there yet. All right? Okay. We're going to zoom out a little bit, and we're going to take a look at this border right here. Let's see, what color do I have? Let me do like a light gray. Okay, light gray. So see how the animal side has this border right here? I'm gonna try to connect it really quick. So that border right there is kind of like a barrier. That one is called a cell membrane. Let's see, I'm trying to get us more colors here. I don't think it's gonna let me. That's okay. So this one is a cell membrane. Right? If we look at the plant side, it also does have that. And notice there's 2 layers, right? So the inner layer of it, I'll go all the way through. The inner layer of it is the membrane. So yes, both plant and animal cell have a cell membrane. Right? The interesting thing, and if you remember over on the other lecture video with the prokaryotes, right, I mentioned about the cell wall. The interesting thing about plants is they also do have a cell wall. So let me pick a darker gray. Oh, that didn't go. Hold on. Like a darker gray. Right? So plants actually also have that extra layer of protection like bacteria do. Now, they are made up of 2 different things, and I don't know if we'll talk about that really. We can talk about it in office hours if you're interested, but only plants have cell walls, right? Plants and bacteria. But in the realm of eukaryotes, for eukaryotes, only plants have that. Right? Only plants have that. So that's a cell wall. Let's see. We have this kind of stack of pancakes right here, right? This stack of pancakes are present in both also, right? And this stack of pancakes is called Golgi apparatus, right? Okay, got a couple more, and then we're gonna focus mostly on the plant here. We have these bigger circles. These bigger ones right here. I'm gonna color them purple. Bigger circles right here. Let's see, where's the other one? Here's the other one. And notice this one is just on the animal side, right? This one just on the animal side. These guys are called lysosomes. Right? Only on the animal side. Only on the animal side. Right? And then I have, let's see, we're running out of colors again. Let's pick a different color. Let's do orange. Sure, why not? All right, let's do orange. I have these kind of sticky looking things like chopsticks. I guess that's more brown than orange. But these little chopstick looking things, right? These are called centrioles. And notice they're only on the animal side, right? Only on the animal side. Those are centrioles. Okay, now let's go over to the plant side. I think we've hit all of the ones on the animal. Yes, I did. Let's see. I did miss these guys right here, but we'll just count them all as lysosomes. That's all right. Right, don't worry about those. We'll just count them as lysosomes. Okay, so over on the plant side, we have this structure right here, right, and this structure right here. So these guys, very, very important. We'll get to know them better a little bit later. But these guys are called chloroplasts. Chloroplast. Right, chloroplast. And this one up here too. Chloroplast. Right? Only in the plant side. I'm going to spoil it a little bit, but the chloroplasts are what helps plant do photosynthesis. Right? We can't do photosynthesis. That's why we are not green, because we don't have chloroplasts. Right? And then we have this kind of big puddle thing looking here. Right? Let's see. So I already used blue. Oh, what the heck. I'm going to use maybe a different shade of blue. Let's see. Different shade of blue. I'll do like this bright blue. Sure, why not? So this thing that looks like a giant puddle, it actually does hold water. This is called a vacuole. Right, this is called a vacuole. This one I will also spoil what it's for, right? But vacuoles, they store water. So that's why there are some plants that you don't have to water it all the time and they're still fine, right? Because they can store water in this vacuole. And then eventually when the vacuole runs out, that's when the plant starts looking kind of limp and sad. And that's how you know you have to water it again. But they do store water in there, right? And let me just zoom out and make sure I have all of them. I think that's all of them. Yeah. So please don't forget, you have to turn in this labeled part that you see right now. You have to turn that in. And then you also have to make a list, right? And I guess I can just show you a sample right now. So you can make a list of, you can do a Venn diagram, whatever you want. But you can just do plants only organelles. Right? There's some just for plants, and I don't know how many there are. I'm just kind of writing down random ones. And then there's some that are just for animals, so animals only. And then you list them out, write out the functions, and then you put one that says both, right? And then you list out the rest, right? So don't just write out, so like chloroplast. Don't just write out chloroplast. I need you to put down what it's for, right? Photosynthesis. Something like that. And I would really, really, really urge you to write it in your own words, because again, I'm not testing you on word for word definition from the textbook, right? If you don't understand what it means and you're just blindly memorizing it, you're not gonna get the question. So try to put it in your own words if possible. Right? So don't forget to do this part, because this part is always the one that people forget and then they lose points. But if you have any questions, let me know. I'll see you guys in the next class.